Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we acquire the capacity to study and understand the scriptures. May our study be brilliant and may we not cavil at each other. Om, peace, peace, peace unto us all. Dear brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to all of you. We welcome all of you for the online satsang of the Sri Sathya Sai Baba Center of Arcadia. We are now doing the study circle on the study guide which we prepared for the Avatar Declaration Day. The theme is faith and surrender. That is what we have started last week, because these are the important concepts for a spiritual seeker, both faith and surrender. Because as I said, in Shirdi Avatar also, Swami talked about Nishtha Saburi, Shraddha Saburi, that means faith and patience. And in this Parthi Avatar also, he said faith and love, Shraddha and Bhakti. So in both avatars he emphasized Shraddha. And here also we talked about how Swami said to be communion with God, the best is first to have, like he gave the example, you have an envelope, then you need both a stamp and an address. If you have a stamp and no address, it won't go anywhere, right? It will go to the dead letter box. And if you have address and no stamp, they won't take it. So you need both. Similarly, for us to be in contact with God, to one with God, you need both faith and love. That's very important. And even Saint Paul in his letters to Corinthians, he emphasizes faith, hope and love. These are great, but of all the greatest is love, because that is the emphasis. And Swami is an incarnation of love, he emphasized. And last week we started, I want to just recapitulate the main important points. Number one, Swami gave us a reassurance. We should all remember, because life is a lot of ups and downs. This world is like this. Anityam asukam, even Lord Buddha said, it is temporary and full of pain, suffering. That is what all of us realize, whoever it is. So, but for us, we have an assurance. We started with that assurance. Swami said, because mind is a source of trouble. Since we have doubts, we have disappointments, we have grief, anxiety, fear, negative qualities like pride and jealousy, because mind, these are all the negativity. Because, so if you have any of them, so Swami said, give your mind to me. I am like your mother. He said, I am your mother. Like mother takes care of the child, cleans the dirt for the child with all the love, even though the child is dirty, because mother's love is like that. She says, I am your mother, and Swami's love is infinite mother's love. So he says, come and give your mind, which is with all this negativity, impurities, I will clean it up. So we should always, whenever we are bothered with this negativity, doubts, disappointment, anxiety, fear, envy, pride, grief, so we should say, Lord, you are my mother, so please take care of that. So it's everything. And then we started main concept. We talked in the beginning, Swami gave the example of the little boy who had complete faith. His mother, he was going to the forest, he was scared what will happen. Like, we can think, these are all the examples, but really it is life. In life, sometimes we go alone. This boy was going alone in the forest, it is dark, he doesn't have any company, he was scared. So his mother gave a reason, don't worry, just your brother will take care of you. He didn't know, who is my brother? He says, Lord Krishna. Oh, he's my brother. He completely had faith in his mother's words. He didn't ask, who is Krishna? How is he my brother? Will he do that? He didn't. Just faith means completely believe in the words of somebody whom you love. Mother, for us, believe in the words of our Guru and God, Swami. So he believed and no more fear. So Swami is giving that example that how like an innocent child, that is why they call childlike faith. Should have not be childish, but childlike. That's why even Jesus said, be ye little children if you want to enter the kingdom of heaven. So just we should have that implicit, innocent, childlike faith that we are in the lap of the mother's side. And then two other things we discussed. One is first he talked about Arjuna, how Arjuna in the middle of war, because we are, another thing is people say, Lord Krishna gave this Gita, in the middle of the war, they're all fighting, killing. How can you have a spiritual discourse in the middle of war? The symbolic thing is in life, we are all in war. So many confrontations, conflicts, confusion, when we don't know, so that is the war. So in this, so it is a Gita Swami is showing, it is a practical spiritual text. How do you face the challenges in life? How do you lead a life? So be in the world, but not of the world. So head in the forest, hands in society, because we are all working in the society, whether at home or work. So how to be, in spite of that, how to be peaceful and calm. That is what the whole teaching of Bhagavad Gita, Nishkama Karma is. And there, Arjuna, the first chapter, the whole thing is, he is so despondent. He says, no, I can't find, this is my grandparents, this is my cousins, this is my thing. So he was depressed. He threw his bow, he buckled down, he wanted to go and meditate. That's not his nature, but like sometimes we want to give up. When the too many bombarded, we said, there is enough. Some people go to get depressed, go to a psychiatrist, or they go to alcohol or drug addiction, or many that suicide. So sad. But if you have spirituality, you have strength. That is the strength. We have God with me. Nothing will happen. He will take care, because he gave that assurance. First itself we talked about that is the divine assurance. I will take care of you. But you should complete faith in me, love me, and you have to surrender to me and be good. That's why Swami says be good, because we all have to pay for our karma, prarabdha karma. So whatever we did, there's nobody who escapes. That is why it's called prarabdha karma. What we had done, we'll start giving. That is why we go through the sickness, we go to some people causing us trouble, some people causing pain. All this is because the karma which sometimes we do. So, but how to cancel that? So one of the teachers was telling, one of the commentators, that in life when we do something bad, the very fact we do something bad, the minute you repent, oh, I did this wrong, 25% is gone, they said, that the effect. And then I won't repeat this again, because life sometimes we do it and we repeat the same mistake again. I said, I won't repeat, you won't repeat that again. Another 25% gone. Then you resolve, I will do from now on only good, see good, be good, do good. I'll do that. Another 25% is gone. Then you start doing good deeds. You help needy people, you serve needy people, you think about God, do your spiritual practices, love the Lord, love the people. Then another 20. So then you don't need to worry about this prarabdha karma, sanchita karma and all that. So that is why it is very important to have that kind of faith that God will take care. So this Arjuna, he goes on telling all this logic, like we said, how to escape from the our duty at hand. Then goes on, Lord Krishna is so sweet, he's a good listener, whereas we will say, hey, just come on, we interrupt people. But he went on listening, he didn't say one word, he went on listening to whatever Arjuna said. And finally, when Arjuna says that, that is why Swami said there are 3 shlokas which are important in Gita. Gita is like a balance, one right pan, left pan, middle balance. Those 3 are important. One is in chapter 2, shloka 7. That is what he talked about last time. karpanya dosha upahata svabhavaha puchchamitvam dharma sammuda cheta. I am confused. I don't know what is right, what is wrong. I don't know what is dharma, what is adharma. Like sometimes it happens to that. So I am asking you, because he is his brother-in-law, he is also his friend. I'm not asking. I'm asking you like your disciple, like your, I think, please tell me, I surrender to you. That is the time he uses the words, I surrender to you. I don't know what is good, what is bad. So please guide me, because I am your disciple. The disciple implicitly, Guru and Shishya relation is different. Like your friend, you may not listen sometimes to them. So brother-in-law, you may make joke and says, get lost. So, but here, when you say Guru Shishya, you implicitly over. So tell me, then the Lord Krishna teaches the whole Gita. This is your duty to fight. Don't be weakling. Face the challenges of life. Do with a detachment, nishkam karma. He says, ultimately surrender. The whole Gita then on Lord Krishna says. And second important shloka is in chapter 9. This is also because it came for discussion. Chapter 9, the shloka is 22. There is another one important. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janah paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Whoever thinks about me all the time. Another thing is who sees nothing but me everywhere, I will take care of their yoga and kshema. That means whatever they need, I will give and make sure they preserve it, they don't lose it. So that is another assurance he gives. And third one, the important, most important is called Charma Shloka in chapter 18, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, Shloka 66. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja. He says, getting out of all your duties, obligations, just only to me, you surrender to me. Then what will you do? Three things he will give. Ahantva sarva papebhyo mochayishyami masucha. I will give you moksha, that's all we want, right? Chaya, moha chaya, or moksha, liberation. I'll give you liberation and I'll get rid of all your sins. So because of the sins only, we are born, we are getting all the sufferings. I'll get rid of all your sins. Ma suchaha, no more grief. So I will get rid of your sorrows, I will get rid of your sins and give you. So these two are negative, get rid of them. Negativities, get rid of sins and the grief, and give you moksha, which is the ultimate, which is the source of our peace and bliss. So that is what he assured. So that is another thing, how to surrender. The next one we talked about is Lakshmana, the role of Lakshmana. Gave the example how this Lakshmana, brother of Rama, he gave away his kingdom, he left his wife, his mother, his comforts, even cherished sleep in serving the Lord. That is the kind of sacrifice. When you want to serve the Lord, you should sacrifice all your things. Because we think about that shows he left his family, that is mother and wife, the closest, he left them in service of Lord. And he left the kingdom. He could have been comfortably in the palace and comfort. He left the comforts of palace and kingdom. And third, basic things of sleep, which is dearest to all of us. You may give up food, not sleep. Even that he gave up. That kind of sacrifice in the service of Lord. That is Lakshmana. So, and he says, his will, he has no will of his own. When Lord Rama says, hey, go and put it wherever you like, he cries. He says, Lord, I don't have a will. My will is one with you. That is the kind. Sacrifice for the sake of the Lord and just blend our will. The only one will exists, thine will. Thine will be done. Like even Jesus, before he went for that, he didn't cry. He says, thine will be done. So that kind of thing. But even such a great man, that is why next story is beautiful. That is where we ended last time. Such a great man, the one who surrendered, who had so much faith in God, who sacrificed everything, he got also confused. What happened? He was going through a place and he says, what am I doing? I'm following you, Lord Rama. Why should I do that? I should go back. Why should I do that? And Lord Rama, like Lord Krishna, they don't respond. They go on smiling. because Mother Sita was perturbed. Why this guy is telling like this? Such a wonderful person and great devotee. So then Lord Rama didn't say anything. After going through that place, passing after left that area when they were going through, then this man realized, my God, what did I do? He asked Rama for forgiveness and give me any kind of punishment. Then Lord Rama says, there is nothing to do with you. You are such a wonderful, but the influence of the place, sthala prabhavam. So the vibrations, we think about vibration, people say a vibration. That's why be careful with whom you associate. Go on being with negative people. I see that all the time now, it sometimes happens. They will also become like that. They will become rude and tell lies, compromise values. So be careful with, choose your company, Swami says. So avoid bad company, ABC. So run away from bad company. So you need to choose the company because that influences. That is why satsang, Swami says, company of holy people, company of devotees who love Lord, selfless, we need to have. Second is the places where you visit, like you go to a holy place, a temple, a church where God is worshipped, or a pilgrimage place where so many saints and sages did penance and austerities. They have those vibrations, as Swami Vivekananda used to say, even in your house, always make one particular place. Choose a particular place, even though God is omnipresent. Every day, have even if you don't have a big house, have a closet or a small room where you put your altar and daily pray the same place. Then that place gets the vibrations. Even the wall, he says, gets infiltrated with the divine vibrations. You need to have a specific place. So because even go to kitchen, what is the vibration is? You want to sit and eat. You want to go to bedroom, you want to lie down and sleep. Even there we have a vibration. Study room, you want to study. So the place of worship, place of meditation, puja room, naturally because of the constant prayers we have been doing for so long, it is much easier to get in tune with God. So place has a vibration, particularly like that is why I said pilgrimage places or holy places, ashrams and all that. It is a stage will come wherever you are there, you will feel the God. That is like great saints and sages like Ramana, Ramakrishna. Place where they are becomes holy. They don't need to go to a holy place. But till that stage comes, we should, because there is a powerful, that guy, because that place was inhabited by the demon, Shurpanaka. That is why Shurpanaka or Tataki. So just, yeah, so Swami says that. So that is why that bad vibration. So you should be careful where these demonic people are there. Don't go there, even though it may look holy place. Because of the demonic nature, even the holy place gets polluted. Like Ganges is Ganges, but you put dirt in that, there it gets dirty. So similarly, holy places also get defied with this negative. So you should watch out. We don't associate it with bad places and bad people and even bad things, because everything as well, even rosary automatically you have it, you want to count beads and say Naam. So if you have a knife or something, you always likes to, even by accident you can hurt others. So you should have good people, good places and good things. Okay, now we'll continue. So we are going to start on page 7. So that is what the PDF says, and my hard copy that I printed it, the PDF that also says page 7. So if you have the computer or you are on a tablet, you open your PDF on page 7. We are going to start today.
Thank you, Dr. Reddy. Sairam, brothers and sisters. Develop faith in God. Faith is the first and foremost quality that man inherits by birth. He develops faith in his mother in the first instance. His mother may scold or beat him, yet his faith in his mother remains firm. That is the greatness of the love of a mother. Man should develop as much faith in God as he has for his mother, but unfortunately he lacks such firm faith in God. Today, man has faith in everything in the objective world. For example, when a news item appears in the newspaper that so-and-so died in Russia under such and such circumstances, we believe that news without an iota of doubt. How did we believe that news? Who gave this news to us? It is only through the newspaper. We are able to believe the newspapers, but we are unable to believe an experience born out of eternal truth and its practice in daily life. In order to develop firm faith in the eternal truth, we have to cultivate noble qualities. This is our foremost duty. By doing so, our faith in God also increases. Unfortunately, today, we are setting aside our faith in God and believing in what others say. We thereby are entering the wrong path. We have to develop self-confidence first. Only then can we develop faith in every aspect of God's creation. Sathya Speaks, Volume 37. Should we do the next section?
Yeah.
Hold on to your faith firmly. Only when there is faith can you achieve anything in life. Even now, there are several people who have progressed in life with firm faith in Jesus. Some people develop faith when their desires are fulfilled. If their desires are not fulfilled, they lose faith. This type of attitude is not good. Keep your faith firm, irrespective of whether your desires are fulfilled. Preserve your faith carefully. Faith can work wonders. It can make a blind person see, a dumb speak. Do not at all doubt the power of faith. Some incidents happening in this world may shake your faith in God, but if you hold on to your faith firmly, you can boldly face any situation. One must have strong faith in God. This is not something one can give or take. Some people pray, quote, "Swami, give me deep faith," unquote. But this is not a give and take business. You yourself have to develop faith. If you are hungry, you have to eat food to satiate your hunger. It is you who has to take medicine to cure your illness. Similarly, you have to develop your faith with love for God. Sathya Speaks, Volume 29. Should we stop here?
Yeah.
So in this first section that we just read, Swami is emphasizing that faith in God is the primary requisite for our spiritual sadhana. This is very practical and it has a lot of benefits for us in under all circumstances. In fact, this reminds me of a beautiful discourse Swami gave some time ago, which we actually played during one of our international programs. What are the steps to self-realization? And Swami made it very simple. First, he said, you have to develop self-confidence. That is confidence in the Atma or God or bliss or love. The words self, Atma, God, love, all these are synonymous, Swami says. Like, for example, if you look at an elephant, some people call it Hathi, some people call it a pachyderm, some people call it a huge animal with big ears, etc. It's the same thing. Similarly, Swami says, start with love and go towards God. So first step is self-confidence. This is why he says here, we have to develop self-confidence first. So what comes from there? He says it's like building a house. First you put the foundation and then you put the walls. The walls here are self-satisfaction, which is you have to have the satisfaction that you are always in bliss, in the divine faith in God. And that way your mind will go away from all these worldly objects. That will lead to self-sacrifice. This self is the small s, not the capital S. The self-confidence, self-satisfaction relates to the big self, which is our Atma. Then the sacrifice is for our ego. And Swami says this is the ultimate step because, as he says, man minus ego simply equals God. So once we do that sacrifice, it leads us to self-realization of the oneness. So everything starts with our faith in God. But why are we not able to have faith in God? Swami says this is again because we are attached to worldly objects, because we have desires, we have kamanas and we have vasanas from past life habits. So all these can be overcome if we just have faith in Him. In fact, He has said many times that I am like your father and mother. His love is like the love of 1,000 mothers, 1,000 fathers put together. but you have to hang on to him. If you go towards the other side, then he cannot help us, because when we are going in the wrong path. So once we develop that faith, and that is love for God, then the rest of it will come easily to us. So this has very practical applications. I think right now in our practical world, with the pandemic still raging in some countries and with economic conditions, if we just do the right things, trust in Swami and hang on to him, then we'll come through, both in this world and hereafter. So,
Yeah. So here Swami said, cute, people believe in newspapers, right? Everybody news in new. They said that without verification, a lot of times Swami says newspapers are nuisance papers. They cause a lot of nuisance. And actually Sri Ramakrishna Dakshineshwar, and sometimes people used to visit him, so many spiritual seekers, but some people, curious people also used to come. They always, in India those days, carrying a newspaper with them is usual. So put the newspaper, because they came to visit the holy, along with that they have it. So as soon as they leave the newspaper, Sri Ramakrishna says, sprinkle Ganges water there, so to purify the place, because that means the newspaper has really made this negative vibration through that. And Swami said even subsequent to newspaper, now later on came television, and Swami used to call television. To distance is poisoning you. Now then comes this, now the emails and the websites, YouTubes and social media. Most of that, if you think, people, one of my cousins, I went to India, and his wife was telling, Anna, I can't even talk to my husband, always he's YouTube, stuck with the YouTube. So morning to evening is going on, because if you want to go on spending, you can spend the whole 24 hours. It can mess up your head, because that all can leave the negative, because a lot of times there's negative gossip. You can use it for good things. There are a lot of spiritual discourses, or you can watch divine plays, dramas, or movies. That is good, but temptation, human mind suddenly goes to this negative there. That is why all these are negative. And Swami is telling you believe in that. Actually, he cutely said, you go to a barber and he put your head there and he's cutting it. If he wants, he can cut your head, but you have a trust, he won't do that, right? And the same thing when you're flying, that guy can do that. You trust in these people who don't, and God says, I am going to take care of you, don't have trust. Like Sri Ramanam Bhagavan Ramana used to say, somebody is traveling in the train, is going, and he had a nice trunk that is like a little suitcase, and he was traveling and he put it on his head. He said, hey, put it. No, I want to carry. He says, along, somebody has to carry. I said, along with your load, that train will carry that too. But similarly, says we don't have faith, God will carry our luggage. So you should have that faith, whereas we believe, trust in more in the faith in the outside thing, the people. It's okay to have, but faith in God, faith in the scriptures, his words. Scriptures are nothing, the words of God, and faith in the Atmic consciousness. That is important. That's why you need to hold on to this faith. As I said, it is not just a concept of God. It is not just one particular form. There are people who have Jesus left 2,000 years ago, still people who are lovers of Jesus, still they experience and see him, experience his miracle. Same thing with Rama, Krishna, Shirdi Sai, whatever it is form. That is why Lord Krishna says in Gita, Ye yadhamam prapadyante tam stadaiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvasha. Whatever the way you worship, I will come that. That is why there is a great singer called Annamacharya, great person who wrote. Lord Swami used to talk about him. Yantamatramuna yavaru talachina antamatrame neevu. Whatever you think he is Shiva, he will be Shiva. If he is Rama, is Rama. Is Krishna, is Krishna. His mother. So it is our bhava, it is our feeling. But we need to have that feeling very firm, not just wavering faith. You should have that absolute faith. That is very important. So next page. Then after that we will stop.
Page 8 in the PDF. Strong faith is enough. to bring God to the devotee. Egotism is the mightiest enemy that has to be overpowered and destroyed. When Rama was proceeding from one hermitage to another in the forest, the rishis who were expecting him to visit them made elaborate preparations to receive him. They prepared lists of grievances to be presented to him and hoped to win his grace by competitive pomp and adulation, by exhibition of superior asceticism. The old woman Shabari, who was the attendant of the sage Matanga, was told by a dying master that Rama will be passing that way, and so she longed in sincere anguish that she must be spared until she could wash the lotus feet of Rama with her tears. The sages sneered at her audacity and laughed at her foolish hope. Rama visited the hermitage of the egotistic ascetics on his way. They read out the verses of welcome they had composed. They presented a petition in which they had listed the atrocities committed by the Rakshasas, demons. They complained that the river water, which was their only source of supply, was contaminated and had become undrinkable. Rama told them in his reply that the water will be rendered pure and potable as soon as they stop reviling Shabari and start appreciating her simple, sincere yearning for God. Shabari had strong and steady faith. That was enough to bring Rama to a lowly hut. Austerity, scholarship, power, authority, experience, riches, these are handicaps that obstruct the acquisition of that simple, sincere faith that God will accept. Sathya Sai Speaks, Volume 8. Should we stop here?
Yeah.
This is a very important point that Swami has always emphasized, that our yearning for God, our faith must be internal. He says that the Lord is Bhava Priya, not to be obtained
Bhashya Priya, not
by
Bhashya.
Bhajya Priya, outside things. So sometimes we go to temples and we do pujas and we give rise to pomp and show and other things which strokes the ego. So people see what you are doing, etc. And that is not the way to God. He said the way to God is to go inside and with pure faith and love. And this is what Shabari did in the Treta Yuga. And he says even now, those people who come to Swami, among them there are those who want some worldly things. They want promotions, they want money, they want this, they want that. But he says he even entertains them, hoping that one day they will want what he has to give, which is actually true faith in God and liberation itself. So these are all obstacles, like luggage. When you go on a trip, if you have like 10 suitcases, you cannot go very far. The Swami says, give up those suitcases, and just travel light, but travel with full faith in me, and that way he'll come to me.
Yeah, this is important. Please, all of you read Shabari. Swami talks with so much love and so much joy when he talks about her. You should all read this Ramakatha Rasavahini, where just go on Ramakatha Rasavahini, read what Swami talked about Shabari. So she was a tribal lady. She's not a scholar. She doesn't know. Just she happened. That is the power of satsang. We talk about satsang. She just served the sages. She served. It's simple. She didn't know anything. Just she used to hear them and serve them. That's all she used to do. Clean the dishes, clean the streets, clean the ashram. That's all. So the Matanga, the rishi, he was touched by her loving and selfless service. And they used to talk about Rama. Then he says, you will be blessed by the darshan of Rama. Yes, sure. So she had that complete faith. Day after day, she was waiting for him. She didn't give up the hope. That is the thing. Once you have faith, after you do it for a day, 2 days, 1 week, 2 months, you give up. Yeah, this is okay. You move on. But don't give up. That is perseverance. So she had that steadfast faith till Rama comes. And then when Rama comes, because as he said, she didn't have scholarship. She didn't chant Vedas or Suktas, but she just offered the berries or the little fruits which were already tasted in our innocence. Actually, in a temple or anywhere, it is a sacrilege to give God something which is tasted already. Actually, you don't even want to look at it. They cover it up with a cloth but this is an example. You do it with love and faith. It doesn't mean tomorrow onwards eat and give it. So, but just that spontaneous love, when it did that, the Lord offers. And then what happens? Just she had one darshan of Lord Rama. She just was merged with him. Only one darshan. And people have so many darshan. People lived with Rama, so many people. They didn't have any benefit. And people same with Jesus. And I asked Swami one time, Swami, she had only one darshan. She merged, and we are having so many darshans, interviews, blessings. What? Main thing is what? The preparation. Because she was so pure, not even one impurity in her. She daily thinking about him. When is he going to come? When is he going to come? How can I serve him? How can I feed him? Always absorbed. It's not just that one darshan. So much preparation for years. So just she was already in tune. That kind of preparation you have, that kind of thing, then the darshan you get benefit. Otherwise, Swami says lotus, even the frogs are there around, they don't get any benefit. But the honeybee which comes, take the honey. Similarly, we need to purify ourselves. And then beautifully talks about the qualities of a devotee in the chapter, Shabari, how a devotee should have qualities to be like her. And met simplicity, absolute faith she has, and perseverance, and she has purity, then you are one with God. So we'll continue next week. Sai Ram.